What's up, party people? Welcome back to Roguelike XP. I'm your host, Jeff, and joining me as always is Lakan. Say hi, Lakan.
What's up? This is me. You're not a bitch. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
And we just got demonetized on YouTube. Thanks.
I'm so sorry.
Anyway, yeah, so you've heard by my sarcastic opening here, but yeah, we're playing another roguelike this week. So
Yeah, you're giving one to me?
I'm giving you another one here.
Let's go.
I didn't know that it was a roguelike, but then I was like, well, it's a lot of fun, and I got a review copy, and it's good, so I think you'll like it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you liked Katana Zero, right? When you played it,
Oh yeah, loved it.
you like games that are like. Did you like Doom? Remember Doom?
Of course.
Did you like those Doom games?
Yeah, loved him.
You like that aesthetic? Yeah.
Yeah.
With like the cosmic horror kind of look. Yeah.
Yeah, move fast, murder fast. You know, kind of game for both of them. But yeah, get that kind of demonic horror thing going on for Doom specifically. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah. So here's a game that's kind of both of those things together in a roguelike.
Okay.
It's called Katanaut, and if you were watching the Play Acclaim revival sort of show, then you have seen it because it was the last game that they showed. And that was the game where, I don't know if I said it to you or who, but I was like, oh shit, that game right there, that is up my alley. And sure enough, a friend of mine that works at Acclaim was like, hey, you want a review copy for it? And I'm like, hell yeah.
Okay.
And then, kind of looking into it, I was like, oh shit, no, this is a roguelike, isn't it? And I was like, but it looked cool. It was the aesthetic that I wanted. It was the gameplay that I wanted otherwise. So I was like, well, I'll play it. And I was hooked. Like, I hate to call all these games addicting that I get, but it's literally all I want to do and all I wanted to play for like a solid 2 weeks straight was Katanaut.
I get that feeling. Yeah. When something takes over your life like that.
Yeah, mostly because I just wanted to clear a run and I had gotten close so many times and I had, gotten hard stuck a few times. But let's talk a little bit more about what Katanaut is. So basically, it's a 2D Metroidvania roguelike.
Okay.
With roguelite elements, and you play as Naut, who is the titular character. He's the cyber samurai, right, with the sword and the offhand and whatnot. And you have to go down into the depths of the space station that you and your crew are basically like stuck on, for the lack of a better term. And you have to uncover kind of what's been going on down there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Throughout the game, you'll get little story bits. You'll meet your team members. You'll run into them. You'll run into even like friendly characters that are there to give you upgrades and stuff like that.
And you can pet a cat. Oh my god, I'm watching the thing right now.
Yeah, that was when I wrote the review for the game. That was one of my H2s was like, can you pet a cat? And yes, and it's just not petting the cat.
Hell yeah,
because I know how important that is. Yeah, you should pet every cat in this game. And yeah, so like it's your typical roguelike kind of flair. Basically, you start, especially early on, with your katana, of which you can unlock more. But I think there's only like one or two from the start. But when you find hidden areas in the world, you can unlock more, and they all do different things. You have a gun, you have a pistol, and your sub-weapon, kind of like Castlevania, you can pick up different sub-weapons that have different sorts of abilities and different sorts of damage types, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole different style there. You get different skills each run. You get different sorts of boosts, and there's a couple different kinds of boosts that you can pick up, and then they just kind of throw you to the wolves. And it's like I said, like it's fun, it's addicting. There's a lot of different ways that you can build your character in there. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Any questions before you kind of jump on in? And I know this is your domain, so if there's anything specific to that I can answer before we get started, just let me know.
In terms of how fast it looks like, at least in the trailer, where is this in comparison to, say, like a Dead Cells in terms of speed, like how fast the game plays?
It's probably close to it, just because, like, I think all the Metroidvania sort of games are. I feel like it's fast, but it's not too fast because you have a stamina system. So everything you do, whether it's a sword attack, whether it's a dodge, whether it's a using your abilities, consumes stamina. So you have to kind of keep that in mind as well as you're kind of making your way through the world and stuff like that. And there are perks and there are syringes basically that you can pick up. Perks affect like your movement options and like a couple of other things, like what kind of damage you do, how you interact with the world around you, and then syringes are kind of the upgrades just for either your main hand, like your katana and your health, and that'll boost your stamina. You can do more like kinetic damage, which is your traditional guns and certain skills. Ether, which is like the otherworldly sort of damage type in the game, and all of those will increase your stamina. So you can increase your stamina. There's a perk that I like where every time you hit with your katana, you get stamina back.
Okay.
Which makes the game a little faster and helps you kind of keep the pace going a little bit. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you can get to sort of bring your stamina back, but everything kind of ties to that stamina gauge. And so you can't play too fast, right? Otherwise you're going to be out of stamina and then you're going to just be a sitting duck because you can't do anything.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm seeing from the trailer, it looks a little bit like, yeah, I understand the Katana Zero vibe a little bit too, just because of how it looks like you kind of enter this kind of flow state in terms of combat. So yeah, I'm super interested in this. I'm ready to check this one out.
Very cool. So for us, it'll be a little while. For you guys, it'll be just after this break. We'll see you with part 2 of Katana Zero. Yeah,
Katana Zero in space.
Basically, yeah. All right, we'll see you guys. All right, it's been a minute, but we're back. Lakan, how is Katanaut?
It's weird because there are moments where I really, really like this game, and then moments that really throw me off about like why it's not clicking as well as I thought it was going to.
Right.
So, I guess like the easiest comparison for me is Dead Cells, right?
Yeah.
I guess I could be a little bit spoiled because I really, really like Dead Cells. I've been playing Dead Cells for years at this point. There are moments where I get to zoom around the map. Like Katana plays, in my opinion, way faster than Dead Cells in terms of like the fact that you can get to the point where your main hand weapon will kill most things in one hit. And then you're kind of just doing this alternate between main weapon, offhand over and over again and kind of just wiping everything. And then half the board doesn't even feel like a threat.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, like, you know, you referenced it in like Hades before, when we talked about that before anything in terms of like the action roguelikes, where you reach that, what's the term used? Power fantasy. There we go.
Power fantasy.
Yeah. So you do, I feel like you reach that in this game much, much faster in comparison to Dead Cells, where Dead Cells, I feel like I can die at any moment, or I get hit once and I've kind of like chunked my run pretty badly. Versus this, where the healing is relatively generous in this game, where you can be so in this game you only have 4 health, right? Starting off, at least when you start the game, you can get upgrades to increase your base health to 5, and so on and so forth. I think it's like this. I think it's like not a stamina, but like a basic health upgrade. So once you're down to 1 health, 1 healing, like the little syringe, will heal to full. And you can get, and the same thing as Dead Cells, where you can use the 1 syringe multiple times throughout the run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it feels like it should be more difficult with only the 4 to 5 health that I have so far, it should feel more threatening, right? But I almost never feel threatened once like the run is rolling. I think that's like my biggest complaint about this game, where it's like it doesn't feel like it feels a little bit like it gets too easy too quickly, in my opinion. But aside from that, the action's very good. The movement's very, very fast. I found myself kind of playing faster and faster. Not a surprise. Again, right? Experienced, like, 2D roguelike player here. The aesthetic's fantastic, but I think it's just like I don't feel as satisfied when I beat a run in this game in comparison to something like a Dead Cells or a Hades.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Was it enjoyable at the very least?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I absolutely did not dislike this game. I just think like it just wasn't as just the ending. You know what I mean? It's just like okay, cool, run's done. I didn't
that
have
is true.
Like the first run I completed was attempt number 7.
Okay. Wow.
And I popped off pretty hard for that one. I was at lunch at work. It's relatively, I'm sitting with my coworkers, relatively quiet. And then like, I kill the final boss. Let's go! You know what I mean? It's like I pop off. And then they're like, what the hell was that? I was like, playing something for the podcast. And, in that moment, it was like very, very like, again, only 7 runs, right? But the thing is, the runs are pretty long in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah, probably around I guess technically around the same run as like a good Dead Cells run. My first clear was about an hour, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is nice that you can also save, in sections.
Agreed. That was one of the things that I really appreciated, was being able to put it down and pick it back up and not have to worry about, losing all my progress here.
Yeah, and it's just that, like, again, like, once I realized though that I had the build that was like, oh, this is going all the way kind of thing. I felt like no fear. Like, I'll go into it, which is again like a mix of like confidence, but also like it didn't feel as challenging once I had that build going. You know what I mean?
What was your build?
I'm still bad with the names of the things, but basically I had two passives for my build, where one shot like a shockwave off of my sword.
Okay.
And also caused lightning.
Okay.
So that was my two skills technically, right? So skills are like kind of like your item pickups in Dead Cells, where you have to activate them unless they're passive, and these ones happen to be passive. So I took 2 pieces of my gameplay off the buttons, right? I removed my trigger use basically altogether here. It was strictly basically sword and like the highest level shotgun that I had at that point.
See, that's interesting, because I went the opposite route for mine. I doubled down on the void skills, and by the end of it, I was just like a walking void monster.
Okay, yeah, I've also had a run go pretty long, going with like the ether items and stuff like that as well. I think my second win was using ether stuff. So, and also because like the way that the syringes, there's like the baseline or the run based power ups, right? Like, you get this per run kind of thing where the syringes. Those are kind of like when you break the giant flasks or the glass containers in Dead Cells, right? Where you increase your red, your green, or your purple ability. Here you have 6 different syringes you can go into, essentially. Your luck, your kinetic skills / combat skills, ether skills. I forgot what the other ones exactly were. But so that one I had like a high crit, high bleed, a shockwave that essentially extends my katana's range. And I was basically one-shotting everything except for bosses. But I could hit bosses 2 times and just unload like 9 shots of my shotgun. Which, again, like, it feels great that I have kind of like there's kind of like a flow, like a cycle, right? So the way that ammunition works in this game is that you fire off however many shots you have, and then you regain ammo by slicing things with your katana. And I believe it's per target. So they can be standing in like a group of 4/1, so your entire magazine's filled again.
Yep.
So again, it has this kind of like engine kind of working, right, for this game, which is a little bit different from Dead Cells, where you're either working with ammunition where you have to get it back, or it's just on a slight cooldown, right? In this game, certain weapons have cooldowns, certain skills have cooldowns. This one, I was just like, weapons don't, for the most part, unless you have like a charge weapon. And then you basically I'm just mashing sword and then offhand, main hand, offhand, main hand, offhand, over and over and over again until basically everything in front of me is gone. It feels great when you're running fast and you're moving. But again, like, I think that's like, I become, again, I'm like this walking, one man, murder machine, basically. Which again, it tickles some parts of my brain.
Right.
But it's just that, again, it's just the satisfaction at the end of it, because I feel like it got too easy too quickly. Like, I'm like untouchable by stage 3, I feel like, more often than not.
Did you get the perk or whatever sort of thing where your roll didn't consume stamina after a while?
Yes, I've also picked up that one as well.
Did you just flop around every level in the game like I did?
Even before I got that, I was sliding and rolling everywhere. So like, again, like I tend to play these games, especially 2D ones, very fast.
I just thought it was so funny to just like for like a neutral observer to just watch Katanaut just flop around an entire like abandoned lab. I just thought would have been absolutely hilarious. Yeah, and then he gets like noodly appendages flopping out of him and all that.
Yeah, so again, there are moments in this game which felt very good in terms of, again, the killing's fantastic, right? Like The sound effects are great. The
Mm-hmm.
aesthetic is great. I love this like horror kind of like, it reminds me of like The Thing or like Dead Space almost. Like there's so much pixelated blood everywhere once you finish an area.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Still exploring a lot of the story. Like I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure out when the story bits come out because I've
I
seen
know.
like 5 or 6 cutscenes, or maybe like 4 or 5 cutscenes actually, because I don't know when they trigger or how they trigger. Like one triggered on my beginning of a run. One triggered like, you know, I find a dude and then I'll get to the next level and then something will trigger right then and there. I've noticed that like after my second clear, people start talking to me a little bit more differently.
Yeah.
You know, you're basically it's you and 2 other people. You're basically space mercenaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your character's kind of like turning or something. Like at least in how what I'm picking up at least so far in terms of what I picked up in the cutscenes that I've gotten.
Yeah, it seems like you have the ability to use those ether abilities in a way that other people can't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are these horrors that take up this spaceship starting to affect you, and how are they starting to affect you, right? And I do enjoy that. I did appreciate kind of the lore bits. I wish, like you said, I wish they were a bit more fleshed out and were a bit more predictable. And that was
Mm-hmm.
one of the things. So full disclosure here, I got this as a review copy, right? So I
Okay.
wrote a whole article on it, and I was able to kind of dig in. And one of the things that I said right off the bat was, I really wish this wasn't a roguelike at first, because it seemed like it had such an interesting story, and I really wanted it to kind of be just like a story driven kind of game. I
Mm-hmm.
think it does work as a roguelike, and I did kind of enjoy that after a while, but part of me was like, damn, this would have been so good as just a standalone like 10-15 hour kind of game, right? With like
Mm-hmm.
a narrative driven story and all of that. Narrative driven gameplay, I mean, and like, I don't know. I just felt like I was not robbed, but kind of felt like it would have been a little bit better had it been just a regular old game rather than a roguelike. But again, like you said, like when you get the lore bits, when you get the flashbacks, especially, it really does hook you, and I really want more of that.
I think it might, if it went that direction, like if it was more of like an 8 to 10 hour story game, you know,
Yeah.
kind of think of like a maybe a little longer. Yeah, like, let's say like Hollow Knight, right? Where you know it's more a little bit more about exploration because you're kind of doing that obviously, right? It's a bit of like the Metroidvania, Castlevania esque kind of map layouts. You know, you have the teleporters, you can kind of move around. Again, it is. I think that like if you were able to like get those story beats after every boss, you know what I mean, or after you reach a particular room or meet a particular character, it would smooth out that story exploration bit in comparison to these, you know, again, what feels like randomized scenes that trigger. I have no idea when. I didn't see anything until like my 5th run in, and I was like, okay, so there's a little bit more here,
Hmm.
and then like 8 or 9 or so, I got another one. Versus like I'm gonna compare it to Hades a little bit here, right? Because Hades has this every time you first off in Hades, there's way more people to interact with, right? Way more characters you talk
Uh-huh.
to. Every character expands upon the story. Versus here, where you have your hub of 6 people, at least again that I've gotten so far anyway, that will not really like tell me a whole lot. They kind of tease some stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, you may need this out there. Are you okay? You know what I mean? And then kind of move along. If it was more like I would interact with them and they would introduce me to a new story beat, that'd be kind of cool. But for the most part, when you're back at your hub or your starting area, you really don't get a whole lot from everybody.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, especially like the hub area, where in games like Hades you expect to get more, you actually kind of get more from even just like the random people that you meet within the worlds, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
random stranger characters that you meet
Yeah.
and have those kind of little scripted events, or even when you meet the doctor, right? The quote unquote, I guess you can call him the final boss. And I guess we should touch on the story here in a minute, but like,
Okay.
you know, you get more from that than you do the people that are in the hub world, and it's kind of tough. And especially when you want more.
Story wise, there's also like the notes you can find hanging on the
Yeah.
walls,
Yep.
right? So those are pretty big like text dumps basically.
Mm-hmm.
kind of just saying like, oh, this is the monster that you're gonna fight. This is basically your bosses, right? It shows up at bosses are what, every 3 stages, I believe, every 2 or 3 stages,
You get, I think it's like two stages, and the third stage is the boss.
which is again relatively similar to how Dead Cells treats their
Right.
thing, except for the fact that you don't get to choose the next biome you're going into. You're
Correct.
just going from it's a beginning to end, and then beginning to end, and I think it's the same basically every time I've done.
I think it's just about the same every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like what's the Rogue Prince of Persia game that I've been
Yeah.
dumping like hours into. Same thing where like the first 2 or 3 stages, and then the same boss every time, so on and so forth. And like the bosses in here, I think it's only like the 4 bosses you actually get to see.
Yeah, so you get the big fleshy void monster the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You get the tank thing, the thing from Destiny. Remember the thing? Remember the fallen thing from Destiny? The big
Oh
tank.
yeah, like the scarab looking thing.
Yeah. By the way, that was like a hard stuck part for me for a very long time, and then I finally cleared it, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then the third boss is the oh shoot, I can see him. It's the glitched out guy with the
Yeah, it's kind of a bullet helly monster, right? Where it has like the 2 giant spiky arms, right? That's the one. Yeah, so that one, and then the doctor. I think that's it.
And then the final boss is the doctor. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's always those 4, which leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of like run variety. As I said before, like the game, like roguelites like these are heavily dependent on like character choice, right? In terms of like what is your build, like what boss are you trying to fight at this point, you know what I mean? Like say you have a build and you're like, I don't want to deal with this guy, let's see if I can influence the run by going to different sections to fight a different boss, right? Like in Dead Cells, where I can, if I say I have like a really good long range thing going on, like a blow dart build, right, where I can just abuse how the poison, and then monsters that like just come out of the ground. I was like, cool, I don't need to know where you are. As soon as you come out, I'm just gonna shoot 8 blow darts into you, and then basically just stall and hide away for a bit until I reload, and then you show back up again. For this one, where again, as I said before, like my build had become like just cycling between sword and gun over and over and over again. It's like, okay, so I'm approaching everything exactly the same. That again, that is like where my main complaint is about this game, where a lot of the runs tend to feel relatively samey versus again, Dead Cells, Hades, what's the Prince of Persia game, and which was funny because the Prince of Persia game is like, oh yeah, well, it's meant to play like a Prince of Persia game. You know what I mean? You know exactly what those play like, right? That kind of like flowy, weave in and out kind of combat. Think of the original Prince of Persia game or Arkham games or the Assassin's Creed games. It's basically that combat in 2D where it's slash dodge, right? Versus here, it's instead of like it's slash gun and then like occasional rolls just to avoid the unparryables parryable if you have the specific sword for it,
Right.
but if you're rocking the other weapon, it's just like, oh cool, I just hack away basically. Even like the bosses that have those kind of bullet helly mechanics, because your character reflects projectiles, kind of like Katana Zero. You don't really need to like dodge. I just stand still a lot of times, wait for, get through their bullet hell section, then wait for them to come back down, and then just go straight back to hacking.
Yeah. My big thing with a lot of the boss fights was I was super impatient, and that got me in trouble a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, when you have all the void skills, you can kind of be crazy and get away with it, because so like for example, the second boss, what I kind of figured out was I had the one skill that would send out the noodly appendages and like pulse and deal damage. That would kill his explodey barrels before it could hit me. So I could just sit there and deal damage on the boss, right?
Yeah.
And then I had another one where and then I had another void skill with that. So a lot of what I did was very skill based, and that kind of helped me get through. But I was very impatient, and like even the other guy, the third boss, the white guy, the big white guy, I would get super like aggressive, and then he would do his move where he would go back and forth and stab you.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I would get hit every time. And that was kind of where I got hard stuck for a little while too. And then I have to be honest, I cheesed it a little bit, because if you go to the left side and you jump on that wall, it glitched out to where it was like a platform. So I could stand there and crouch and
Okay.
just swipe
Slice
him.
downwards the entire time. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Exactly.
I did that for the first boss. That's all I do now, because like he is so easy to avoid. Like that giant flesh, the giant, like, again, it's like a mix of like, I think in the notes it said like it's like a mix of like bovine and like, yeah, it's like mix of like cow and dog basically.
Yep.
Like so that one, for the most part, until he starts firing out the projectiles, like he doesn't even fire them. Technically, he opens up like some like rift portals basically that shoot projectiles at you. I just jump at those, slice them once, those are gone, and then sit at the platform until it falls, and just slash downwards, and then jump to the next one, slash downwards.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like a lot of the bosses in this game tend to be pretty like sensitive to cheese, where you can kind of just like avoid them and just kind of play the lamest way possible and clear them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have enough phases, or they don't have enough variety in their attack patterns to deal with the amount of mobility that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have a double jump, you have a dodge. There's platforms everywhere. It's usually like 3 platforms. It looks like Battlefield, basically, from Smash.
Yeah, from Smash Brothers.
and I'm over here just just wave dashing like freaking Fox, and just like, yo,
exactly.
go ahead, you can't even touch me, bro.
Exactly.
Like I think like in terms of like your builds, if in terms of like how you tend to play very relatively impatiently. Again, I tend to do that as well. I play these games very, very quickly. Always moving, always sliding, always rolling. I got my second win was I had the passive that passive? I think so. Where my roll allows me to basically have a block up for 8 seconds that allows me to straight up just automatically block one attack. So
Yep.
And the cooldown for that just gets brought down to like I think 11 or 10 seconds. So it's like there's only a 2-second downtime that I'm not able to just get one free block without even thinking about it. And I was like rocking that with the other one that allows me to slash passively as I roll. So basically, I'm just it's the thing we were talking about earlier, where it's like I'm flopping around on the ground, just like I get the dodge. I was like, okay, I start grabbing the ones that give the end of level bonuses that give you increased invincibility frames during your roll. So it just makes your window wider. Whoops, sorry, I just smacked my microphone.
It's okay.
And I was just like, again, just rolling on the floor, just slapping my face against the enemy, while, again, just spamming my shotgun or my grenade launcher. I tend to use a lot, just to help clear things faster, while just spamming my slash. And my katana at that point was like an extra, I had like 10 or 11 points into combat katana skills. And the increased stamina on top of that, and the reduced stamina from my dodging, was like, yeah, like I didn't run out of stamina at all, which is like, you would think that the stamina would be a much larger part of the gameplay. It's only really an issue in the beginning.
Yep, exactly.
Where if you have a weapon that requires more stamina to use just to slash with your regular katana, your main hand weapon. Okay, cool. You play a little conservatively in the beginning, and then once you get like, again, like maybe 3 or 4 levels in, you don't have to worry about it ever again. Again, I think the scaling is just too fast. That's again, like the main kind of thing I keep coming back to here. Hello, editing Lakan here. I'm actually going to do a small drop in here because I've continued to play the game at warp level 1, and it actually has ended up addressing a couple of the minor gripes that I had about the game's difficulty being a little bit too low, and the boss fights being a little bit too easy to cheese or kind of abuse certain mechanics in the game. So on regular levels, not the boss levels, enemies get a randomized buff, basically, where they can either have a shield that you have to knock off before you can do damage to them. They're harder to see, not exactly invisible, but they're kind of like a shadowy enemy. So you have to kind of be on guard at all times. You can still hit them while they're, again, like not invisible, but like, think of like the active camo in Halo, where like if you're paying attention, you'll see it, and it's not like you're getting hit out of nowhere. Or there are random projectiles that are floating around the map, or you'll randomly lose ammunition for your offhand weapon. So stuff like that increases the base difficulty of the game. And again, there's just a couple, maybe even a couple more enemies on the map as well, from what it seems like. And again, you don't get the refill of your health and the syringes at every level. So now they're alternating levels. I believe it's only one syringe you're getting a refill if you're not getting a full refill anymore. So that's the regular levels. And then for the bosses, I'm going to use the first boss as an example here, where now instead of being able to stand on the platform and kind of just cheese it and hack away at it, but until the platform falls down, then jump to the next one, then the same thing. The giant like animal fleshy mass monster now summons these kind of ghost claws that follow you around in one of the phases of its attacks. So you can't just sit in one place anymore, because after a short delay, the ghost claws will appear, and then after, again, a short delay, they will slash at you. So you can't just sit in that particular spot anymore. So you have to constantly be moving around now during said fights. Also, I'm not sure if it's because I'm not getting as much of the pickups anymore, because it also does reduce the amount of drops that enemies do on Warp Level 1, like, the syringes that power you up, or the skill drops that allows you to level up your abilities. They are lessened on Warp Level 1. And then also the boss monsters seem like they have a lot more health, where before I could slam through one of the bosses in about 30 seconds, at least the first and second boss, when your run is relatively going well, they definitely are a bit more of a damage sponge, which is not my favorite way of adjusting difficulty and just making things have way more health. But in this case, it actually kind of works out. So you have to pay attention and learn the enemy attack patterns, kite more effectively, instead of just camping them out and cheesing them. So I have seen the first, second, and third bosses now on the Warp Level 1. Again, it has kind of addressed some of my issues with the game's difficulty and scaling. So just remember that now as we continue to talk about this episode. Okay, back to the discussion.
Yeah, I think okay. So, what are we at now? We're 26 minutes into the second half. We should probably talk about the game, huh?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, so Katanaut is, like we talked about, it's a 2D action platformer roguelike, right?
Metroidvania-esque, yeah.
Yeah, Metroidvania, whatever, all that jazz. It was developed by VoidMaw, who is a solo dev. So a lot of the things, like when you were talking about a few things like the boss choices and kind of the fractured paths like you could do with Dead Cells, it was kind of like, yeah, he's one dude doing this. Mm-hmm. So like that's kind of why you don't have that much, but he's still updating the game as as time goes on and patching.
It's still relatively early. Yeah.
Exactly. It was published by Acclaim, so this is technically the second game that the new Acclaim has published. The first was was like the 8-bit basketball game that they showed in their comeback montage or whatever.
Yeah, Long Island's own Acclaim. Are they still based in Long Island at this point?
That is a very good question. I'm about to find out.
Yeah. But yeah, again, like, as a solo dev game, I'm all about, you know what I mean? I love supporting like small dev teams or solo devs. Again, it is surprisingly polished in terms of like the game feel. The game feel is very good in this game. It feels like a modernized Ninja Gaiden to me.
Yep.
And I say that we just got another modernized Ninja Gaiden recently. It reminds me a little bit of like The Messenger, or what's the other one? Cyber Shadow is I think the other one was called. That was the very very heavily inspired solo dev Ninja Gaiden game. Yeah, again, it is a very good title, solo dev. Is this their first title, I'm assuming?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, yeah, again, like a first attempt, this is really, really good. It's surprisingly polished from a gameplay aspect and game feel and like aesthetic aspect. Very, very, I really like the way this game looks and feels so far.
Agreed.
Yeah, like again, like I absolutely did not have a bad time with this game whatsoever. It's just that again, it just didn't hit me at the end as like hard. I didn't have that moment, that sigh of relief. It's like, oh, thank God, I finally got one. You know what I mean? I think that's like what the difference is.
I did, because like it was getting to the point where so my first clear was at 23 runs, and I'm like, damn, I gotta get this review out. Oh my God, I'm a scrub. I'm not gonna be able to beat this game before the fucking review goes up. Oh my God.
Okay.
So that's basically how I sold my review, was like, yes, it's a few days late, but I at least beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
I at least cleared a run. I don't know what these other guys did, but I cleared a run. Speaking of which, you play as Naut. He's a cybernetic samurai, and he has a team of mercenaries that reside in a now abandoned space station filled with intergalactic horrors and unholy monstrosities. I'm just reading my review right now. As Naut, you descend into the depths of the station, facing more vicious and disturbing creatures as you go down, while unlocking memory fragments of those who tried and failed to save humanity. You're armed with your trusty katana. Did you find any of the other katanas in the game? Did you unlock any of the other ones?
I have all 5 of the findable katanas unlocked already.
Oh, shit. Okay, I found like 2, and I was like, hell yeah, I found 2. Which was the one that you liked the most?
The first one I unlocked was the second or the fourth one, the one on the bottom left of the is a row of like 3x2. The bottom left one I think was the one that, oh no, second one. That's the heavy blade where you can parry melees.
Yep. That was the one that I used for like the majority of the game. I'm booting it up just so I remember which one it is.
Okay.
I hope my audio doesn't come through.
You should be fine. It should be recording your desktop audio.
Well, it just crashed, so that's good. Probably because I have too much shit open.
But that one, and then I actually ended up using the like the curse blade essentially, which is the 6th weapon.
Okay.
That was the second one that I found. It is the one where everything kills everything in one hit except for bosses. It does extra damage to bosses, but if you get hit once, you die.
Oh.
So that one I use on a majority of my run. Again, I've only got like 15. My second win was with, I believe, the 3rd blade, which actually was the last one for me to unlock because I'm dumb and didn't realize so, okay, tangenting here just so I can explain this one thing. So one of the blades is hidden in this kind of like alternate reality zone.
Yep.
Where you fight twin bosses, basically, or like these twin crawlers thing that spawn a bunch of little mini fleshy gross guys. Wipe those, and then there's like a long empty hole on the far right of the map.
Yep.
Me being dumb didn't realize the grappling gun was there to traverse that giant chasm. So I was assuming like, oh, maybe I need something for this. Because I kept trying to do like, speed dashes and like you're climbing off the wall. You get a speed boost when you jump off the wall. I had one that I had an ability that allows me to slash with the katana and basically like, omae wa moshinderu, like, they dash through samurai slash a long distance, right? And I use that to just cannonball me across the giant chasm.
Oh shit.
Use the grappling gun there, hook up to the wall 2 or 3 times, and you're across the chasm. But that's when I unlocked, I believe, the 3rd one that basically shoots out these little ether like orbs that also hit things. But that was the one that sword is the one that I got my second clear on, because that one also made the game relatively automatic.
Yeah, so that was the one that I used to get my first clear, because I finally, like you did, successfully traversed that area and unlocked it, right? Because it got to a point where I couldn't find these blades, and I was like, they got to be somewhere, and I kept on going to that secret area, and then never like being able to traverse that long chasm, whatever you want to call it. So then I finally did it, and I got the Echo Fang, which is what the sword is called, and I think it like played well with my void based strategy. So I think that's kind of what helped me too. So like that was all the stuff that got me together. The other thing that I did was I had the void ability. It's called Astral Echo. I have the screen up right now. Chance for ether skills to cause an explosion on hit. So basically what ended up happening was I maxed that out. So every time I used an ether ability, it would chain and everything would just explode.
It's like the black hole gun from Destiny 2. I forgot that one was called.
It's even like the ability from the Titan, the Void Titan.
Yes, yeah, exactly like that. So yeah, again, that I believe that was what my secondary. Oh, I lied. So yeah, I had the one that allowed me to slide and get invisibility and block one hit on top of it, and my one active skill was calling a bunch of like these red floating orbs that hunt down enemies, basically.
Yep, that was my other skill. Yep.
So there's 2 versions of that. There's one that kind of just like hovers and then kind of just like stays where it is. The other one kind of tracks a little bit more and actually like, kind of like impacts and explodes on impact. The red one is the one that I had.
Yeah, here it is. Ion Storm.
So yeah, that was my secondary one where it's like, okay, like again, I'm out of stamina, I'm out of ammo. I wait a little bit, I drop one of those, and I can kind of just avoid the boss for like 3 seconds while my stamina regains. Yeah, again, like you are a walking ball of death very quickly in this game. End of the game, like I died to the doctor once, like out of like my 3 or 4 times getting to him now, or 2 times or 3 times. Sorry. Again, I've gotten 2 clears. The first time was like the learning run. I was like, okay, I have to learn what it actually does, right?
Yep.
The second 2 wins, I just smacked the shit out of this doctor, fucking nerd, and just wrecked his shit. So again, like once you are rolling, the game is like basically over, at least in regards to how I'm playing. Now I'm currently doing the level up now, like the like they're called the boss cells and dead cells. Here is like the warp level 1, where it makes the game more difficult. You instead of gaining a full health refill and a syringe refill at the end of levels, it's every other level. So same as dead cells. More enemies. More often than not, you're gonna get chased by the the weird blood vial thing.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll touch on that after I finish this explanation. But like now, once I've gotten those runs in, I'm starting to do the warp level one runs now.
Yeah.
The game has become considerably more difficult to do, which I think that should be where the sweet spot should be, at least in terms of like my enjoyment of these kind of games. Whereas like, okay, like now I have to, like every other level, I have to really consider how my fights, you know what I mean? Like, do I avoid certain things? Do I just try to go for the end, for the exit room as quickly as possible? Do I risk the reward little corners of the map that are kind of hidden away? But yeah, like at least in regards to difficulty, like warp level 1, I think is like my current sweet spot of like, okay, this is now a little bit more challenging and a little bit more of like my flavor of where game's difficulty should lie.
Definitely. Yeah. I need to try a warp 1. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, which unlocks after you clear the game once, basically. Again, same as Dead Cells. So like or Hades the Heats, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly what I thought it was. It was the Heats from Hades. And I just didn't get around to it. Like I said, like I got this as a review copy, so I just wanted to like get it out and then move on to something else. But I'll go back and definitely give this a shot here. The increased difficulty a shot.
And again, like I'm not going to drop the game right off the bat now that I've beaten it a couple times and we've done on the podcast. This is absolutely going to be in the rotation of the many 2D roguelites that I play. Right.
That's good.
Especially because I'm so intrigued by the lore. Like I want to know what the hell is happening, For sure. Because like it's being drip fed, which gives me that kind of carrot on a stick of like, okay, now I want to figure out more of what's happening here. And now that I'm starting to see these kind of like, I saw the Shadow Me trigger cutscene at one point.
Yeah,
And I'm like, ooh, okay, I want to know what the hell's up here. Especially because, like, at the end of your run, your character starts like kind of phasing in and out until the game basically ends at the black hole. And I'm like, I need to know what the hell's happening here. Again, I have that more of like questioning what's happening with the main character, kind of like what Dead Space is. You know what I mean? Where I'm assuming there's gonna be like a big twist at the end once you get a lot of the story kind of pieced together.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Hades does it, right? Like piecemeal. Every time you do a clear, you get a different cutscene at the end. Different things kind of become available to you. Yeah, more dialogue and all that.
I'm nowhere near endgame. Neither of us are, because again, I'm hoping there's more than just the obviously like 5 levels or 4 levels. I'm assuming there's going to be here at some point. The fact that this game is still like so not under the radar, but like it hasn't blown up yet. There's like not even a wiki yet. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things I'm always like, okay, if I want to figure out some stuff and I don't have the time to dig for all the story bits, it's like I can go to the wiki and start like reading a little bit ahead. I never want to spoil something completely for myself. But I was like, let me see what's up here, because maybe like I can find cutscene 1, cutscene 2, cutscene 3. You know what I mean? Nothing. None of that is like on wikis yet. I'm assuming there's probably a couple on YouTube, but like again, I don't know how far those spoilers go. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna risk it on YouTube. I'd rather like read and then stop reading and then just move along if I need to.
Yep. Yeah. It also made like trying to clear bosses and stuff fun. The Steam community page is like the best spot that I've found to like find stuff. Like I even posted on it. I was like, how do you beat the second boss? And I ended up doing it anyway, but like it just really seemed like the Steam community page is the spot to go if you have questions about this game, because like you said, there is no wiki. There's nothing. You're on your own. It is cool that there is no help, but it's also like damn, I'm trying to beat this game. I need help.
A little bit, just a sprinkle of assistance here.
Yeah, just something, just a little help, please.
The one thing that I did notice as well too is that the VoidMaw, right, is the creator of the game.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They are very active on social medias.
Yes,
like they're posting regularly on Reddit. I see their posts like on the Steam discussion pages. Like they're replying to people relatively often, which is awesome. And especially because like if they're still developing this game, they're still trying to flesh it out some more. Maybe expand upon the core aspect of this game. It's like it seems like they're pretty open to criticisms and recommendations from the player base. Obviously you don't want to just be a carbon copy of Dead Cells or any of the other 2D Metroidvania games, like what is it, Trinity something, the one that I played at PAX forever ago. But like, in terms of like quality of life stuff or maybe some clarity things, it's cool that they seem to be listening to or taking comments from the player base relatively well.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. I've had a chance to talk to him a few times, and
cool.
He's a really nice guy. So that's also kind of why I was really into like getting this game, doing the review, doing it for the show, because like these solo devs deserve to have like an opportunity to shine, and like anything I can do to like help them out, especially when the game is fun. But like, especially when the game is fun like this, you want to help them out.
And I noticed something. So this game was heavily wishlisted on Steam from some further digging that I ended up like doing after between runs and stuff like that. And I realized that this game got Silksong.
Oh yeah, yep, yes it did.
So Hollow Knight Silksong came out on September 4 of 2025. This game came out September 10, 2025.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate timing. That I think that's like kind of why this game kind of got buried a little bit, which is wild because it seemed to be pretty heavily wishlisted. Hey man,
them's the bricks, buddy.
It happens, but like again, like it's a good game. I don't want to compare it to Silksong. It's a very different game, obviously.
It is.
I think a lot of the community that does like Silksong or Dead Cells, I think this is absolutely in that wheelhouse for those kind of players. For those fans of those types of games. But it is very. What is it, like? Oh, I think it's currently rated at overwhelmingly positive on Steam.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up real quick. I'm scared to touch anything because I upgraded to Windows 11 recently, and my computer is shitting itself every hour or two. So I'm scared to open anything up.
Yeah, just very, very positive.
Still very positive. Yes. 60 for recent, 182 for all reviews. Very good so far.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. It's good to see. Again, I think just like a couple more choices would be good. I think for this game in terms of like, if they're still going to be continuing to flesh it out, I think that'd be very nice to see. Just so that way you don't end up in this like, because even in the trailers or the animated little bits that I see here, there's other weapons that I haven't even unlocked yet.
Yep, exactly.
Again, I feel bad comparing it regularly to other titles, right? Because it is its own title, it has its own identity and personality. It's just shorthand for me to try to explain what it is that I'm looking for. Obviously, I don't want just Dead Cells 2. You know what I mean? Like, there is a Dead Cells. It's almost a close to perfect game in my opinion. This game is very good. It is different. It is not Dead Cells, but this is also a very polished game. I just want to see more and see what they get up to when they continue to work on this game. One question for you here, actually: did you play this with a mouse and keyboard, or did you play with a controller?
I did a little bit of both.
Okay. Yeah, because this game feels very good on both.
Yeah.
Because obviously you aim your gun, your sword, in all 360 degrees, right? So that's always kind of nice to have. The controller, there's an option for like, kind of like aim assist essentially, where like
right.
your gun will aim and kind of lock in towards enemies towards that direction, which is kind of nice. It's like a smart aiming setup, you know what I mean? Where it's like it just helps you out a little bit. That's all it is. It's not like it's clearing a whole room just by smashing triangle or Y on your controller the entire time.
Yeah, that comes later. That comes when you're like Giga Chad powerful.
I've had a good time with this game so far. It's been a little bit like just to peek behind the curtain here. I played this game for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to. Like, me saying only 15 to 18 runs that I've had so far, whatever the hell it is that I've said now at this point. I was busy for one of the weeks completely, so I didn't get to really play it a whole lot. But like when I was back from my trip visiting my family, I like kind of fell like right back into the swing of things, and like I just like I went on a tear with this game. Luckily, because I'm very familiar with this type of style of game. It's like I don't have to worry about putting it down for a week or two and try to figure out the controls again, which we have acknowledged is a bit of an issue in some of the previous titles we played. Like what 2-3 episodes ago, where it's like you put it down, you're like, oh, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing anymore.
Yeah, definitely. My 11 o'clock just got moved, so hell yeah. I'm just pointing at the sky right now. Yes, sir.
I was trying to zoom in to try to fit on all my comments. I was trying to make sure you're not getting in trouble here.
No. We got to push back, baby. Let's go. Let's keep talking. Let's keep podding, baby.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Let's do a run right now. No, I don't have that much time.
One thing I wanted to touch upon in this game, because I said before, like, there's kind of these extra rooms that like they're kind of like the challenge rooms, right? In this game, where like you'll fight these two elites, I guess you want to call them. Because this is like damage to elites in the description for some of the weapons.
Yeah. So there are multiple rooms like this, right, where you'll just stumble into it. It actually killed one of my runs.
Same. Yeah, not realizing... Because again, this game's a little bit about exploration. So it's like, I'm going to find this long hallway. Where does this go? And then I'm like, there's two of these like elites in this room that I've never seen before. So I was like, okay, let's just try to slam through it.
Yep.
And I got killed because I didn't see one of the projectiles that was like kind of floating around the map relatively lazily. And I was like, okay, well, there goes that.
Yeah. So I ended up finding one of the elites in the level before the final boss. My first time getting to the doctor. And I blew all of my resources trying to kill the elite. And then by the time I got to the doctor, I was just out of health. And I also went into the fight blind too. So that didn't really help. So it was a combination of going into the fight blind plus not having all my resources, which doomed me. But then like the second time I fought the doctor, I just beat his ass. Like it took me, it's crazy. It took me, like you talk about the bosses in this game, it took me less time to kill the final boss than it did to kill the second boss. It's just crazy.
I get it, man. Because like, I kind of feel the same way. Maybe the third boss I feel is kind of annoying.
But once I cheesed him, everything was fine.
Yeah. Like, but like the doctor is kind of a bitch. Fucking nerd with his glasses. I just smacked the books out of his hands, and I just shoved him into a locker, and I fucking ended the game. That was it. Ooh, one of the like surprises of this game. You can pet the cat.
You can pet the cat. I did mention that in my review. You can pet the cat.
And I think we touched about it in the first half as well too.
Mm-hmm. If you pet the cat while you're in the world, though,
level 2 or level 3. Yeah, nice little surprise.
Yeah, it will. I'll just let you guys figure it out. I'll let you see what happens. Don't attempt to pet the cat unless you're strong, because sometimes you might get a different ending.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just spoil this. Sometimes they just explode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that happened to me. I did it by accident in the midst of combat. The cat was just walking around. And so like I accidentally
like right bumper to pick something up. And
I right bumper to pick something up and accidentally pet the cat, and then it just went. And I was like, oh, that's a relief. I will also say this: the guy, the dev VoidMaw, does always call it a Souls-like challenge. Mm-hmm. So he does want this to be a little difficult.
I wish it would kind of level out a little bit more, where that challenge lasts a little bit longer.
I get you completely. I guess I just need to get good at this game, because I was like, like I said, like I got hard stuck on the second boss for like a week, and like
Again, don't blame yourself. Like you threw this game at me knowing I was addicted to Dead Cells. Like Dead Cells was the only game that I played for like a year at one point.
Dead Cells is fun. Dead Cells is really cool.
I'm like a hardened vet at this type of game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even though like I'm not the greatest at all by any means. I'm quite bad in comparison to like the people who like play this game quote unquote professionally. Like they stream it and they do all the tips and tricks kind of videos on YouTube. You know what I mean? Where they know the game inside and out. Was it Dunning-Kruger or is it the bell curve, I guess, technically, where it's like I'm just past the point of like knowing that I'm okay. I'm aware that I'm okay at the game. Right, I'm there right now. So it's like I just like know how these games play. I recognize patterns, and that allows me to like skip the first like 5-10 runs of just trying to learn the game. You know what I mean? So don't try to blame it on yourself of being like, quote unquote bad at the game. It's just like, no, like I just have way more time. I've dumped hours into, this type of like 2D action hack / roguelike game.
I get it completely, but like, and like, I started to get like that. Like, I started playing this, and then I got like the Lois Griffin meme where he just keeps staring at the pill bottle, and I'm like, damn, I want to play it again. So like, it even got to the point where like when my son was home, I'd start playing the game.
You're like, I got time for one more run, right? While he's busy having his lunch.
Yeah, it's like I gotta do it for work. I'm sorry, I gotta do this. I got the code, I gotta put the review up. So and I would just play and play and play, and then it got to the point where it was like, do I want to play it instead of going to sleep? No, I'm not that crazy. Not that addicted.
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
No,
it's a 2D game. It's a pixel game. Pixel aesthetic, anyway, right? It is creepy. It's very well designed in terms of like the monster designs. Where like, not that I'm gonna be freaked out by it, but again, like it's the same feeling as like watching like a B or like a high B horror flick. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's there's some nice little bits in here, but it's like the weird body horror stuff is like, that's the one that kind of sticks in my brain a little bit more. Like seeing like the twins where they're looked at these weird zippered up bodies, you know what I mean?
Yes.
With thorns coming out of their sides, and they spawn these little guys with like needles coming out of their arms. Yeah, it's like nice and creepy, just creepy enough to be like, ugh, gross.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not terrified of playing the game. Oh, actually, except for that one giant murder ball, that the actual murder ball.
Oh yeah, the cult, not the cult.
Yes.
What is it? Yeah.
So we touched upon it earlier, but we never actually explained it. So it showed up in like my third run. Like it's really early, and it kind of like, hey, heads up, by the way, there's something ready to chase you, and you better, like, it's basically a race to this like blood fountain. So basically, it's this giant ball mass of evil void goo. That
basically,
yeah. So like in Spelunky, it's the Ghost King. You remember that? Remember when we played Spelunky? Like, we took too long in the level. So it's like that. So it's like it kind of lazily floats around the map, just being a threat the entire time. And now your screen is like a little bit more red and glitchy. So you're like, it has this impending doom feeling the whole time you're playing it, basically, right? The only way to get it to go away is either exit the area or hit the blood fountain, which is somewhere on the map, and it will show up where it is on your map. So it's kind of like Dead Cells or Metroidvania or Metroid or any of those games, right? Where like, if you haven't been to it yet, it's still blacked out by the fog of war. But you'll see the marking. It's like, okay, I know where it is, but I have to figure out how to get there. I'm kind of just rushing through the level, trying to avoid getting murdered on the way by either the giant void ball or the monsters that are plaguing the entire space station.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you hit that, you're like, cool, the screen stops being all red and glitchy, and you kind of go back to regular gameplay. It can also happen randomly throughout your level, like the level you're playing, where I don't know if it's because like there's like a timer or something, or it's randomized. But yeah, it feels like the Nemesis from like Resident Evil 3. It's just like, hey, you feel safe, right? Wrong, bitch. Like, here I am. And then,
hurry up, motherfucker. Get out of here.
And it respawns all of the monsters on the map. That definitely adds a little bit to the threat and doom of this game.
So what I would end up doing is, even if it didn't spawn, I would still kill the totem thing, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I don't want to deal with that thing. That thing also looks like the thing it might also be the same creature in the second to last level that I found that ended my run. Like, you might actually get to fight it at the end in one of like the hidden rooms. And that's basically what ended my run, was something that looked like this amalgamation that follows you. I just thought it was a cool little bit. It adds to the mystery, right? It adds to the lore, right?
I never got the boss fight with it, so all I knew is that, like, basically, at least from the way the game talked about it, touch it and you die. That's what I assumed, especially when I see that kind of like all powerful, monster floating around the map, like ignoring like wall collision. I'm assuming like just don't touch it and you'll be okay.
Yeah. I think so too.
What's the boss fight with it look like?
It just kind of floated around. It might not be the same creature. It might just be something that looked like it, but it basically just floated around, dropped stuff on you. You know what I mean? I mean, it's your typical kind of elite. It's an elite, really, not a boss fight. So it only had like a couple of different moves, but like it's also really spooky to look at. So you're trying to fight it. You're also at the end of the like I was at the last level before the final boss, and I'm like, please
Got
don't
it.
die. So like I said, I blew all my resources trying to kill this thing, and then I killed it, and then it cost me the run. So I was like, fuck. And I wasn't able to max out my, I wasn't able to max out my syringes, my health syringes, because I had used all of them in that elite fight. So that's what ended up happening.
Gotcha. Okay,
But
yeah.
it is what it is. My favorite part are like the enemies that when you kill them, they shoot projectiles, because then you gotta like worry about those, especially when they're in like a mass group and you're killing so much stuff. Like it's the worst. Like I have gotten runs ended by just like a stray projectile, and it sucks.
Yeah, there's a couple that like explode like a spore, like a mushroom spore kind of thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's those guys, and because of that, I have just decided to slash kill everything, and then always throw out a dodge roll at the end of any minor encounter, just to play it safe. Or like the guys that you kill it, and then a tiny guy falls out of his head.
Yes, I remember them.
The little face hugger looking things. So again, just play it safe. Just kind of like I always throw out a dodge roll at the end. Hopefully, I don't get jumped by something as I'm in mid dodge roll animation. Get all the pickups.
Yeah, get everything you can.
You find like these small rooms, usually kind of a little bit tucked away into the corners of the map. Like what, two currency boxes usually. Yeah. Usually one skill drop, and then like a syringe or two. I go for those every time. Like if I see them, I will always go for them, because I honestly like that might be what I think it is. Nix one of those every level, and maybe you won't scale as hard.
Yeah,
I think it's because of the fact that like the game's a little bit too generous in terms of giving you the power up stuff. I understand like you want to give the player something, you want to reward the player, but it almost like, because they also randomly drop after killing enemies, so it's just like maybe nix one of those rooms, or make it that the drop rate of syringes, of items, not as high, just randomly killing like enemies or elites. I think it's when you kill elites, it has like a chance to drop one of those.
Yeah.
But not the regular enemies, I think.
It might also be a thing where that's what the heats do, right? So every heat going forward lessens those drop rates. So could be something like that. So
just as a reminder, yes, that is exactly what the heats do. I mentioned earlier that I forgot to expand on it a little bit more before. Jeff nails it right on the head here. That is exactly what the heats do. It lowers the amount of drops that show up on the map.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not done with this. Is I think what it comes down to is we're not done with this game yet. There's still a lot to explore.
Oh no.
And I think that's the cool part about it, is that there is so much more to explore. So this has motivated me to pick it back up. Like I'm gonna probably play it here on lunch and just chill out and try to see how far I can get in an hour or so, right? And that's exciting, because I really did enjoy this game. I'm glad you seem to have enjoyed this game. And I think anybody out there listening who wants to give the game a shot, I mean, it goes on and off on sale. I think at the most it's $15. It's worth $15. Even as somebody that didn't pay for it, it's worth $15.
I would have had a problem
exactly.
with that. One thing that like Unga Bunga Lizard Brain part of me,
right?
Where like there's a lot of like random achievements in this game.
Yes, there are.
So like, just kill 2,000 enemies, or find this survivor, find that survivor, find the guy with the dog.
Yeah.
Deal over 1,000 damage in a single hit. I've gotten a lot of these, like, I feel like relatively rarer ones already, because like again, I've gotten to like that, like, holy shit, I am a walking death machine wizard, firing lightning bolts out of my hands like level kind of thing. Like the achievements are just like, oh cool, like it's something that I was just doing, just playing the game, it shows up, you know what I mean? Like not realizing how strong I was, or I ended up in a random spot kind of thing. There's one here where I killed an elite killed an elite while I was at 1 HP. Like that was the one where I almost blew my run kind of thing. One here where I killed the Horizon Keeper. That was the third boss. You kill all the Horizon Keeper's minions. Their third phase is literally them dropping off like 20 of their little buddies. I was like, that's cute, bro. And I kill all of the Horizon Keeper's minions within 3 seconds of spawning. So like I threw out like one slash and the little extras bleeds or whatever just killed everything in one shot. So I just basically skipped a phase. Like it was like yeah, like I again like random kind of like nice little again little dangly carrots, little shiny bits to keep me playing, you know what I mean? Because I want to keep exploring and finding out these little achievements. Like there's 100 achievements. I've already unlocked 51 of them.
Yeah. It is fun. I think he has a good sense of humor too. So like some of them are really funny. Did you also, speaking of sense of humor, did you also play around with the settings at all?
Not like what, like the audio settings over that?
No, so there are gameplay settings that you can change. The one that I did, because obviously I was playing this game with my son in the room, was I changed the blood to confetti.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So every time I kill something, even though these things are like scary, like body horror monsters, they drop confetti when they got killed. So
that's good.
Yeah, you can change the blood color. There's a few other things that you can change.
It's like the paintball mode in GoldenEye.
Yeah, Dead Cells did this too. I'm pretty sure, where you could like edit the blood and stuff. Right? I'm not sure though. Blood effects, high detail, low detail, off. Flowers, confetti, bears, seasonal. Dead body parts on. You could also get rid of like the blur if it was bothering you, like I did with Empty Shell. I got rid of that.
Okay. Yeah. I reduced that like screen glitchiness a little bit. I dropped it down to like 20%. Yeah. Just for clarity. Actually, that's one thing that I want to point out. Clarity in these types of games, especially if they're very, very fast, needs to be actually clear.
Yes.
There are times when I was playing this, especially early on, like when I was still trying to learn the game. I want to say like run 2, run 3. I was like noticing it where certain monsters will kind of blend into some of the dead carcasses strewn about the map.
That is true.
So like those are times when I would get annoyed thinking I got hit by something that like I couldn't really see it. You know what I mean? So like stuff like that is like I think like not like not like unfair. I don't think it's intended to be that way. But clarity needs to be like on point for stuff like that,
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing to have this, a certain kind of aesthetic where everything's dark and dingy and, spooky. And there's another thing where I can't see anything. So it kind of negatively impacts the horror part of it, right? Or the surprise of it, where I can't see what's going on, but I can't see what's going on. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it almost feels unfair in that moment when if something does happen to hit you and end your run like that.
Yeah, unfair, and I don't know what's happening. So how am I supposed to respond to this? I can't be scared. I don't know what's happening. I can't see anything. I'm just frustrated. It's a work in progress, but as far as I can tell, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely worth a shot, and it's only getting better, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I even from like the 3 weeks that I've started playing this game, I turn on my Steam Deck or my PC, and I usually see there's an update going on, or like a small like a nice little fine tune, you know what I mean, getting dropped in. Again, just more, and I still have a lot of stuff to explore in the game. Like I'm reading some of the comments and kind of spoiling things, or not the comments, the achievements and kind of spoiling things for myself a little bit. But there are things where like so I said before, that guy with the dog, right? He guy's like, yeah, it's simple things, right? You gotta find what you can to stay happy or stay sane. There's one says pet the dog after the owner goes missing, and I'm like, oh no, okay. So I'm like, does he go missing because I'm the bad guy? Yeah. Am I the bad person? Or like, does he get destroyed by the monsters that are randomly shown about the map? So it's like I want to know more and more. I know I may have sounded a little harsh in the beginning of the second half of the podcast, but like by all means, like I like this game a lot so far, and I'm absolutely not shitting on it.
That's good. That's a relief.
I just want to make that clear.
That's a relief. Cool.
Yeah. I was just trying to gather my thoughts, which made me. I may have sounded a little overly serious, in the beginning of this, but I was just making clear. I'm not hating on this game.
Good. I'm glad.
Is there a particular item or weapon that you have gravitated to so far?
Well, obviously, so like when all of my runs are void, there's like a void rifle. I obviously added that to my repertoire every chance I could. I
think I found a pistol. I haven't found a rifle yet.
Really?
Okay.
Or like the void something. So all I know is that it shoots out void or ether. I keep calling it void because I'm playing Destiny.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm playing Destiny at least. It shoots out ether, and all my skills stack with ether, and all my abilities stack with ether. So I just ran ether, right? I ran ether, all
Gotcha.
ether, everything. The other thing that I liked a lot of the skills that were like the big slashes and stuff like that, like the samurai, like the big slash, the
Oh yeah, I found one. I found that one on my last run. It's like it reminds me of like Ike's attack, like his neutral B from Brawl and forward, where it's like you hold it and then there's a giant pillar just comes out from in front of you.
That too, and the circle slash. It's like the character flips around and you can kind of use it as like another jump too. That was also fun,
yeah.
but I just always defaulted to ether sorts of runs. So it sucks, but that's the way everything kind of went for me. But I did have fun with it, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing for these types of games where you want to explore and try more builds out. But like, I feel like the way that the skills upgrades work in this game, I guess we'll touch on that a little bit right now. So when you find the small little tech orbs, right, that either give you new skills or upgrade your current skills, or you recycle them for currency, right? The worst feeling thing is when you have a thing you don't particularly like, but it's already at like blue or purple, right? Because it goes by like color legendaries, right? Same as Dead Cells or any sort of rarity in any sort of MMO or whatever. When you find the better version, but it's the base version, and you're like, I'm giving up damage for this thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's one of the things that like I'm not really digging so far. You do have the ability to upgrade one item per level at the when you're at your next between level hub thing. But I wish there was a way to. I think it might be luck. I think it is. There's a luck stat in this game which allows, I think, higher quality skills to show up.
And one of the roguelite elements is that you can upgrade things from common to rare or like the one after rare. I don't want to call it legendary because I don't think it's legendary or epic.
I think it is legendary.
Epic or legendary.
There's like a myth. Yeah. There's like a mythic, ascendant, so on and so forth. Yeah, there is that. Same as Dead Cells, right? You know, the guy with the giant vial. You know what I mean? In between levels in Dead Cell, that's how you upgrade your base weapons or the drops. The quality of the drops you're going to see in that level. That's what it is, I think. So I haven't gone far enough into that, I think. But it's like the second or third guy you talk to in the hub when you start your runs. I think that's where you get to upgrade your stuff. There's also the one cyber chick who's like hooked up to the computer right before you exit the door. That's something you don't see in Dead Cells, I think, where you have up to right now I have up to 5 of these like little implants.
Yep, that's what they're called.
These
implants.
chips. Cool. So these things are base stat increases, which are nice to have, but you could swap them out.
Yep.
So it costs like 10 to swap out or install something else. 10 of the ether currency. I don't know. Again, I don't know what any of this stuff is called, but like there's basic ones where it's like just stamina 5% more or health. You get 1 extra health, stuff like that. I've only unlocked like 7 so far. I'm not sure if I'm just like not finding them or they are just kind of trickling out for me right now, but. The screen is big. There's a lot of them, so I'm like I just want to find more of them to see how I can modify my character's base stats per run to to kind of lead into a particular play style. If I want to go to my next run, like with running ether or kinetic or just what is it? It's kinetic or ether or something else. There's like 3 different types of combat damage technically.
I forget the other one. Damn. All right.
Yeah, but stuff like that. Is like, okay, cool. So I can change my stuff around and kind of mess around with the different builds a little bit more. Be incentivized to pick up different weapons than I usually do.
Exactly. That's something that I want to do with this next run. Is I really want to try to not rely on the ether so much, and really try to do something kinetic. Maybe stay tuned. That'll be something we end up doing again. Anything else on your mind?
I think we covered a lot for this one.
Definitely.
Yeah, and for solo dev. Relatively new title, first title at that. Cool to see Acclaim's doing stuff again.
Definitely.
They're not shitty, right? They haven't been canceled yet.
No. They're all really nice guys.
Okay, good.
You know, and you know, I'm not just saying that because I'm friends with the one of the PR guys, but they are a really cool. They are a really cool group, and I'm excited to see what Acclaim has moving forward.
I feel like my criticisms are relatively minor in comparison to how good the game is so far. Smoothing out the difficulty curve and a couple quality of life changes.
Get it out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm talking way too fast here. Guaranteed pickup for anybody who's into this, like, again, high speed, kind of frenetic hack and slash 2D action game.
For sure. You've heard it from us. Go check out Katanaut from Acclaim and VoidMaw. Really good time. If you made it this far, thanks so much for listening. Be sure to leave us a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. We're available where you get most, on most major podcast platforms. And we'll see you next time for episode 100.
Woo! 100, baby. See you then.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I've been, stoked. And Gabe's like, I can't wait for you to hold him. And I was like, I'm still gonna be terrified because I'm not good with holding little babies. And he's like, you ready to change some diapers? I'm like, no, that's a you job. I'm there to be the fun uncle.
Oh yeah, don't change more than you have to. But if you're gonna do it now before he starts eating real food, because now it's like you get like the breast milk and the formula poops, which aren't. They smell funny, but they're not awful.